Hi, I'm Kelly, Director of B2C Marketing at Captura.
I'm Eric Leszkowicz. I'm owner of Keepsake Portraits, a portrait and volume studio in Ohio.
And we're here to talk to you about getting parents to show up and buy. So, Eric, we all know that parents are motivated to buy already. They want to get those pictures, they love their kids, but we know that they don't. So, what's stopping them from buying? So, I want to hear a little bit from you, starting off with the arming parents with information. Like, they don't feel like they know when picture days may be coming, they can't find their online code. Maybe sometimes you didn't even get the email address to let them know, hey, picture day is coming. So, could you tell me a little bit more about how you collect data and just from jump, how do you get emails to get the conversation started?
Yeah, so to get the emails, and again, a lot of our work involves schools and school sports. And so to get those emails, we're relying on the schools themselves to provide those emails. It is tricky because there are different situations with different states. There's different situations, different localities, whether they want to give that information up. And all of ours do pretty regularly. It's a vital part of the process and for communication, because if they can't get an email or a text telling them that here is their unique private link, they really won't have any way to buy the images. In our workflow system, we don't hand a QR code out that goes home with them. And so the only way to really get that link is through email and through a text. And so collecting that information is incredibly vital.
Awesome. What happens if you get pushback? I've heard from plenty of studio owners like yourself that sometimes schools say, oh, well, it doesn't feel safe, or I'm not ready to share that information. What do you do if a school pushes back?
So a few things. One is it's important that we have very good data for a variety of reasons. Specifically from the school's perspective, these images go into the gradebook program. So obviously we need first name, last name. That's very accurate. But in addition, they also go into the yearbook. Now, we certainly have first name and last name, and we can put the image in the yearbook. But one of the problems is that because we do a variety of images, both for fall and our spring portrait programs, that parents often, very often, change the image that they want in the yearbook because the smile wasn't exactly right and they want a different image in the yearbook. And so to give them that opportunity, they need to have this link. And the only way to get this link is to send them a unique email or a text. And so we explained to the schools that it's very vital for the yearbook program that the parents be able to select the image, that the best image goes in the yearbook that the parents want. Obviously, we're using it too to do seller portraits, but the main thing is for them is to get that image for the yearbook.
I think that's great. Something else I've heard studios do, you may do this yourself if they push back continually, is that it's a safety feature as well. If we know who is supposed to be getting those photos, you have on the books, this is parents' email address. You can fact check that before sending out any links. Do you do that as well?
We do, yes. So we will frequently get calls from parents on the phone to our studio and say, well, I didn't get a link. Can I have a link? And so we go into the system and look at and say, well, we'll send you a link right now, email and phone, if we have it. So we send those links out. Well, they say, well, no, I don't have that email address. I have another email address I need you to send it to. And we say, well, you have to send that information to the school, and the school will get in touch with us so that we can send you that link. So we only send information to the information that's on file from the school.
I love that. It's definitely the safest way to ensure that the right people are getting the photos that they need. Tell me a little bit about your pre-photo day, because I think a lot of studios, don't necessarily think about the pre-photo day experience. How do you get parents excited and knowledgeable around picture day?
Yeah, a lot of times the schools themselves will send an email out, but that email may be as simple as, here's a picture day. We frequently provide digital versions of various kinds, both PDF and JPEG and text to the schools. But even better is we use the system that we use with Captura. We put in pre-picture day emails so that when we load the images information in and set the event date, we tell it a day before and 2 or 4 days before, send out an email to the parents saying, hey, picture day is this particular day. Here's what you might want to do to get ready. And then we also explain the process after the fact, that within a day, they'll have their images up online. They will get a link, an email, and a text that lets them know where they can go see their images. And that's really important as well, because maybe that email, it doesn't happen often, but maybe that email just gets lost in the shuffle. It gets sometimes sent to spam, not very often, but just gets lost in the shuffle of emails. We all get 1,000 emails and we go through every day and we delete a bunch of emails. We accidentally delete one of those emails. And so they know, wait, it's been 3 days. I haven't seen that email. I need to contact somebody. And we have a link on our site where they can contact us. So that's an important thing too, but also to prepare them for clothing choices and any other things that may come up as a question. We even still use those old school, I call them old school stickers, where they put the sticker on the elementary students. We don't really do this for high school, but elementary students, tomorrow is picture day. And parents, they really do. They appreciate it. We hear every year and from parents and teachers that they like that. They love the emails that go out ahead of time as well.
I love that. That's so helpful because, like, the parents don't know the picture day is coming. They don't feel prepared. They send their kid out the door, maybe an outfit they wouldn't have chose for picture day. It's not going to be the same. So really, really, really powerful is having those pre-picture days. And as you mentioned, Captura makes it really easy to just sort of set it and forget it. Once you put the event date in, we can help you get those out. I want to talk a little bit too about the whole life cycle experience. So, okay, we've got photos, pictures are ready to go out. We want to tell the parents. You can get up to 50% of the revenue on a job after those first 30 days if you keep marketing going. So tell me a little bit about what you do for a typical job in terms of photos are ready all the way through archive.
Yes, so we have a few stages, and the most important or the most intense stage is the first 2 weeks. There's free shipping offered the first 2 weeks, and that's shipped straight to home, which is 100% of our work virtually is shipped to home. And so if they get free shipping those first 2 weeks, and so we have a lot of email communications encouraging them to order up to that point of those first 2 weeks. Once those first 2 weeks elapse, we still have communications that go out fairly regular to non-buyers in our default communications profile up to 30 days. And then we have a couple other marks that go out at 45, and I believe most of them will have a 60-day mark as well. So the main profile has that. And because with workflow, with Captura, we can stack communication profiles and have multiple ones running at the same time. We will also run specials that come up. I love that frequently the main big specials, such as Black Friday, Christmas, Mother's Day, those kind of events, my marketing department puts in emails for me that I can use if I want to, and I can add those to jobs strategically that I want to do so. Black Friday being one of the best that we send out. Probably the second best is the archive campaign. So all throughout the school year, they are getting communications about ordering their images. People that have ordered images get a few communications, not as many as the non-buyers, but they'll get a few because sometimes we'll add special backgrounds for certain seasons and special templates in and send them offers for that as well. And it may seem like a lot of emails. And at first, I will be honest, I resisted sending out those emails because I thought I get so many emails every day. Actually, just before I got on here, I was going through my inbox and just deleting a bunch of emails that probably I should unsubscribe from, but I just deleted emails every day. And I thought, I don't want to be that person. But I had a principal come up to me and say, you know what I love about your studio? And I thought he's going to talk about my wonderful portrait work or my great staff or whatever else that I was thinking. And she said, I love that you send me so many emails. And I thought that doesn't sound like a compliment because I finally get around to ordering my kids' pictures. So here's this principal who typically is very, they're organized. And so, but they just need those reminders to finally get around to ordering those images. And so I've taken that to heart and been not as hesitant to send out a bunch of emails to clients because I know that some people really do appreciate that. And so we will send a lot. If somebody doesn't purchase by the time we go to our archive campaign in the summer, it's probably somewhere between 15, depends on the school and the campaigns, 15 to 25 emails probably that they will get.
Yep, I love that. It's a great call.
We get a very high open rate as well with our emails. And again, primarily because we have the emails from the school, and school parents still primarily get school information through email. And they may prefer text for a variety of things, and text still works really well as well. But they just operate with email when it comes to schools. And we're getting the email that the school uses to communicate with them. And we see very, very high open rates with our campaigns.
Another thing I was thinking about too is using basically those like Black Friday and those staggered like one-off campaigns as a way to drive revenue when you may otherwise be soft. Of course, Black Friday, that's the time when people are spending money. But if you have a period of your business where maybe it's a little bit softer, you're not shooting jobs, you're in between seasons, that's a great time to run some sort of either flash sale or just reminder campaign to see that spike in revenue when you maybe otherwise wouldn't have some. And I think you brought up a really great point yesterday about when you strategically time your archive campaign. So why don't you tell everybody about that?
Yes, I go a step further with my timing. I enjoy seeing revenue come in, but I specifically love archive campaigns, and I always time those out in the summer in coordination with my summer vacation. We get together every year for camping with the family for 1 week in June, and it's always in the Blue Ridge Mountains. And I love going up, watching the sunrise, have a cup of coffee in my hand, and watching the sunrise, and then checking my archive campaign and how well it's selling, because that is probably our second best, second to Black Friday of our specialty communications. It does really well. And the archive campaign, if you don't know, and you thought, I've never heard of that, it's just simply telling them, look, we're getting ready for the next school year, and we are archiving these images off. And we frequently will not say it's archiving, because that sounds like it's a permanent thing, but we will say that they're moving to next year's pricing and simplified packaging. We do several things like that. So we do raise the price on those packages and set them aside in essence. And so we do that and let them know that that's possible. Sometimes we'll add a free shipping component in there with the archive campaign just to add more incentive to purchase.
To your point about watching the sales roll in, Captura makes it really easy with our dashboards to go into any campaign and really see the revenue you're driving either by the campaign or for your full account on your dashboard. So an exciting way to hit the button, hit send, and watch those dollars come in.
Yes.
Awesome. Now that we've got parents, they're getting email. We have that last piece to get them across the finish line once they've opened our emails, and that's really the shopping experience. So tell me a little bit about how you set up your shop and how do you make parents aware of what's the best option for them?
So over the years, both from our portrait side, where we had done in-person sales, to our volume side, we realized there's so many different kinds of buyers. There are some people that do just want a record, a simple image record, and so they want a nice simple package. And some do have a need for more products and images, but they do still want to be fast. And so we always want to plan for that fast buyer. And we utilize the labels on the packages, both in the image that we upload, as well as the image that we can add on inside of workflow and say, this is the best value or most popular package. And so we always make sure that we do that. So that person that's coming in quickly, oh, there's one, it's great. A lot of times that one's somewhere, it depends on the type of photography, $69, $79. And they're like, that's perfect. It's got what I need in it. I don't have to think, let me click, there's my image. And if they're picking a background, they pick a background and they're done. And I like that the fast buyer can be there. But then there's the buyer that they'll shop around for exactly what they need. And they want to make sure they get exactly what they need. So outside of our package section, we'll set up a section with a lot of a la carte images and a lot of a la carte products as well. And so they love to shop around. And so they will click and click and click through that gallery. They may visit several times and keep clicking and just to pick out what they want. They just love shopping or designing. They love putting in backgrounds and selecting their background. Some don't, some love that. So you want to make sure both sides are satisfied. So having an a la carte section where they can piece together things as they want, but having simple packages as they can buy. I've always found that if you put the picture for the package and show what's in the package, it's far better than anything else. If I had a package name in sports and it was called the Varsity or something, and I wanted to put some creative little logo in there, that's not as powerful, I don't think. It's actually showing them what they're getting in the package. If they're getting how many pictures they're getting, what sizes they are. I think that's really important to show that, because it just speeds that process up. I think the last client is less common, but you love them in the sense that they just want a lot of everything. And so you do want to have a lot of things in there that have items that are just, maybe you only have a few sales a year, but they're just highly valuable items. So we have that kind of buyer as well that will spend on school portraits $300 and $400 on school portraits. There are not many, but you want to make sure that you have things there for people that want a lot of things and images to buy.
I love that. A little something for everybody. One other thing that I want to talk about too is you brought this up a little bit earlier around using shipping. So using offers as conversion levers.
Yeah, we do use unlock offers for certain lines. And if somebody's not familiar with that, it's just It's there, but it's locked. And until they either do something, purchase a package or purchase so much, they don't get it unlocked. So it could be a free item incentive for spending so much, however you would like to utilize that. A lot of times we use magnets as a free unlock offer if we're using unlocks. But we really love motivating the free shipping. That seems to be the biggest motivator. I know I've sat with other industries, non-photography industry people, and people that analyze shopping behaviors, and they have constantly emphasized that free shipping is by far the biggest bonus for purchase, and it's also one of the biggest negatives. Like if they have to pay shipping, that leads to the most cart abandonments, that they get to the point of purchase and they're like, I have to pay shipping, I'm out of here. And so free shipping is a big incentive. And so we offer that for the first 2 weeks to clients. We do set a minimum, but it's so low that it's virtually everybody is getting it. And so everybody's getting free shipping straight to home. And so they love that, but it's a huge motivator as well. And we can see that in our sales, because you can see as you get close to that deadline and those multiple communications go out, we frequently close our galleries on Sundays. And as we just personally found that to be best for sales. And so they will get a communication Friday and then Saturday and then Sunday morning, and then even an additional text on Sunday just to remind them, hey, don't forget, tonight's the end of free shipping.
Love that. I love that you can use it early too to incentivize those early sales, but also as a lever really at any point, like with Black Friday, with later offers. Something that we see studios use too is our banners. Are you utilizing the shop banners at the top of the site to basically show free shipping deadline is X date?
Yes. We've used that this summer because as we've had those features added. This summer, we're doing a lot of revamping of our shopping experience this summer. And so one of the things too that we're doing with our shopping experience is the images that show on the packages. I don't necessarily need them exactly to that specific school, but we do like a little bit of variety. And I do like to theme specifically sports to kind of the season. So I don't want in the wintertime to have all of my sample images to be football images. Yep. And so I want to show that variety with that. We're setting that up this summer, and much more of the banners and so forth as well.
That's awesome. I'd love to hear that. And one last thing I want to plug on on the offer part is we actually have something that we call our candy aisle. Have you utilized any of our unlocked offers and promoted the candy aisle yet?
I haven't. It's been a busy spring.
Yep.
And so I'm excited because I love that. When I saw it, I was so excited, and I had to hold myself back because I was like, too busy at this moment. But now that we're through the spring rush and yearbooks are delivered, we're now ready to start looking at implementing that.
Love that. So for those of you who don't know, we have something called our candy aisle upsell experience. So when someone's actually going through the cart and checking out, if you have a locked offer, so say, spend $50, get a free magnet, we can basically set up your cart in a way that the customer will see within their cart where they're at to meet that threshold, and we'll encourage them to add more to their cart to meet that threshold. As soon as they reach that threshold, that section that was showing them more items to add now changes to their unlocked offer. So it's like, oh, you've unlocked the free magnet. Click here to add the magnet to your cart. We actually saw that when we ran an A/B test to see how does this improve the shopping experience for parents. We saw an increase of AOV by 3% and a conversion rate increase by 1.5%. That resulted in 4.5% revenue per visitor, more revenue per visitor by having this candy aisle experience up. So we're really excited to get more studios like you utilizing these locked offers. We also, one last plug too, we also did just launch free shipping as a threshold in the cart level. So now you can actually have a free shipping threshold and a different discount offer that's locked with a promo code at the same time.
Yeah, because I love that the parents love to get the images, but I know sometimes, because we'll get calls later, that they didn't order certain items. They didn't know about them, or they just didn't see them. And so I love being able to do this to help drive in particularly products that I know that they would love to have.
And once we get them through the experience, I know a lot of studios maybe think that's the end. We deliver the product and that's all. But I know you have an interesting anecdote around communicating with customers after they purchase. Tell me a little bit more about that.
So once the customer purchases, the process begins. Depends on the product line. Some product lines we do check first, particularly on the sports. Sometimes we want to see them first. So the next day, an assistant will go in, verify the order, and hit send to the lab. Once that's at the lab, the lab does a fantastic job getting it into the mail but that is where it's out of both of our control. And for us in Ohio, there is a great black hole in Columbus, Ohio that frequently packages get stuck in, and not just portraits, but all kinds of packages, and they just get lost. The problem happens is parents will email us a month or two later, or we had this problem. They would email us and say, I didn't get my pictures. And we're like, oh no, this is way too long. They've been sent. And sure enough, they've just gotten lost in Columbus. And the lab quickly sends out another one. But I don't want them waiting 1 or 2 months. So what we did was we implemented a survey 2 weeks after they order. So it triggers 2 weeks after they order. And then that survey asks them, how did you enjoy your pictures? And then it asks them some other questions. The vast majority of individuals don't fill out that survey, which I'm guessing most surveys that people get in email do not. But what we do find is that they're getting that email at 2 weeks and they're like, I haven't even got my images yet. So then they call us or email us. And by doing that, we have shortened that time down. And so at the 2 week mark, they say, well, I haven't got my images yet. So if it did it's a slow process sometimes with the mail. And so if it's just slow, we'll check the tracking on it. And we're like, oh, well, your pictures are actually going to arrive tomorrow. And then they're thrilled. Or they say, I didn't get them. And we look, and sure enough, they're stuck. And so we'll say, I'm sorry, Postal Service messed up, and we're going to get a new one out to you right away. So it's just shortened that time, because I don't want emails. I ordered my pictures 3 months ago and I haven't gotten them yet. I don't want that email to come in. So we've used that survey as a prompt to them, rather than saying, did you get your pictures yet? I don't want to say that. Instead, I want to say, how did you enjoy your pictures? And then that's the way we can find out that they haven't, and we can fix that customer service problem that sometimes is caused with delayed shipping.
I love that. It's such a great way to use a communication with this survey to actually get a different result. You're really just reminding them, hey, you ordered, did you get it yet? Without having to say that. Any closing thoughts on what else studios can be doing to really ensure that they've got the full parent buying experience?
I think just don't be afraid to send those communications out. I know in the past I was very slow to send out that many communications, but several times we've had parents thank us for that. And one principal, and we see the results. The people get those emails and they're taking action on them and purchasing. So we just love that, because life is very busy. Email inboxes are very busy. And so the one thing I would say is just get over the fear of sending too many emails. And there's certainly a point where you could, and being too salesy, you could cross that line. But just constantly reminding people throughout the year is actually a benefit to them. Obviously, we generate the revenue, but they get those pictures that they really want. I don't want them to get a year down the road and look back and say, I didn't get those images. I need to order them. How do I? And then they have to chase down those images. So I want them to have the images. So by reminding them with lots of emails, it's doing them that service.
Well, thank you, Eric. This has been wonderful. Hopefully everybody got some great tips out of this and can take that home to their own studios.